Hey everyone, what a rough day. Welcome into the TexAgs post-game wrap. Texas A&M falls 20 to 10 to Arkansas in the Southwest Classic, a game where there was really no offense, and the defense finished strong, but they'd certainly had a first half that was to forget, for no doubt about that at all. Jimbo Fisher did say a couple things about they gave up too many huge plays. This TexAgs post-game wrap is brought to you by Higginbotham Insurance. You can probably only think about your insurance when you need it, but Higginbotham, our insurance specialist, think about risk and how to cover them year round. We start with listening and end with a custom solution that fits your needs and your budget, whether it's your home, car, health, business, or employees. Higginbotham has you covered. Higginbotham is a place that leads with values so that your value leads. By the way, you can email them at tsmith@higginbotham.com or check out higginbotham.com. All right, guys, so let's get into this one because this was a rough one to watch from the very beginning. It was a one-score game in that fourth quarter, which was a miracle after the way the first half went. They were dominated in each possible way in that first half, especially in that first quarter. Arkansas was just better in every facet of the game. Tip of the cap to Sam Pittman, what he's been able to do. Barry Odom as well, a legit beatdown in the first half. Defense did come to play in the second half, but again, no offense other than what Isaiah Spiller was able to provide. They went to him early with no points, but then in the third, that big 60-plus yard touchdown gave A&M hope. An injured KJ Jefferson did change it for Arkansas for a little bit. Malik Hornsby struggled initially, but is definitely a fast guy. But there was no offense whatsoever. Zach Calzada struggling in this one, held the ball way too long, threw high on several times, was indecisive, led to a rough performance, especially that fourth quarter interception, which hit off of Bryce Foster's head. I believe Arkansas had the short field at that point, and you're going to get the 3 points, and A&M could not move the ball beyond that. So when I say nothing went right, absolutely nothing went right, but yet it was still a game. It was still a game there in the fourth quarter. When they were down 17-0, it felt like they're not going to be able to move the ball, and it also felt like there's no way this is going to be a close game. But the defense did held serve there most of the second half, but you've got to be able to move the ball, and we didn't get that. Let's now go to our post-game analyst out there, Brandon Leone, joining the program, former A&M running back, who breaks it all down. Man, I don't even know where to start with this one. Such a rough one, without a doubt. Where do you want to start? Because they just did not look prepared to begin this game.
Well, I think the biggest concern heading into this game was obviously the line of scrimmage on the offensive side of the ball. I think most people heading into this game's hope for us to have a chance was for the defense to play well and to shut this team down. And they had, overall as a team, like you said, in all facets of the game, and in the first quarter especially, we just got our tails kicked. I mean, they kicked our ass. They jumped out on our offense. If you weren't a college football fan, you didn't know that A&M was supposed to have a great defense after the first quarter, you wouldn't have thought that they did. And so offense played horrible in the first quarter. Defense, it was disappointing because they jumped out on us so quick. And then I think the frustrating part for me was, Miles Jones, some of the senior players or some of the more talented veterans had some tough days today. And so it wasn't just the inexperienced offensive line. It was an overall team effort that hurt us. And so it was just disappointing, man. And like you said, we made adjustments. I said at halftime on Twitter, and I usually don't live tweet. That's my fault. I shouldn't have done that. I gave that up until today. But I said at halftime, Elko's going to make adjustments in the second half and shut this team down. He's the best second half DC in the country. I believe that he is, and he was. And the offense just couldn't get anything going. We are a shell of ourselves on offense with the inexperience at offensive line, and I think with our backup quarterback feeding off of that inexperience at offensive line, man. And if we don't get it fixed right away, it's going to be a problem. Really big problem. It was today. I mean, this is a game I don't think we should have lost. But listen, Dave Nuño, they got 11 six-year seniors, I think, multiple fifth-year players, and everyone panicking and crying on Twitter talking about all these jumping off the cliff responses. Experience makes a huge difference. Yes, we have a more talented roster overall, but a lot of that talent is super young, man. These guys have been there, like Jimbo said in his press conference, from the beginning. No excuse, but experience is huge. You give us five returning starters on the offensive line, right? And then let's see what we can do with Spiller and Achane and Anais. we just got our ass kicked on the offensive line today. We couldn't do anything. They rushed 3 and dominated us. Calzada looked like he was under pressure from 8 guys. It's inexperience.
Yep.
This is SEC, man. This ain't New Mexico. This ain't Colorado. And this ain't Kent State.
I'll say this, Brandon. Typically 20 in the SEC. You hold Arkansas to 20, you think you have a chance to win that game. But the score wasn't indicative of how I think most of the game was played. I asked Jimbo a little bit about not running the ball after Isaiah had that big 66-yard touchdown. And he said they ran it a couple of times, but then they started running out of time, and they tried to do things. But I really think when it was a one-score game, that could have been the turning point. Arkansas made some plays, and A&M didn't go. And again, there were some drops, as you mentioned. So just talk about some of the stars not showing up the way we're used to seeing them show up.
Yeah, I mean, that was disappointing, right? I mean, you want to see your veteran guys, especially when you know on offense that you're pressing. You want to see Jalen make those catches he needs to make. I think I saw 3 drops from him today. Love him. I think he's one of the best tight ends in the country. Had a bad day. Kenyon Green, without a shadow of a doubt, going to play for many years in the NFL. He got his tail kicked on a few times today. But, man, listen, Kenyon's moving all over the place. I don't know what was going on with 85. Anias made some dang good plays today. Spiller made some dang good plays today. But even on defense, man, Hansford, 6-year guy, the guy's running downfield, and you just try to check him like he's a high school football player. And instead of wrapping up and tackling him, you try to shoulder chuck him. I mean, dude's just he's got good balance. He's a good player. There's a lot of plays from some of our veterans that were disappointing. But what's crazy about this is the worst I've seen us play in a significant amount of time under Jimbo. And it's 17-10 midway through the third quarter. We had chances, man. We just didn't capitalize. And, again, I'm going to go back to it. We have inexperience on offensive line. We have 3 freshmen out there. We had Demas out there. We have freshman guys, talented guys, but young guys. And if they don't get it together quick, man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to do much going forward with this offense.
So, Brandon, I was – little surprised in the first half when it comes to defense, not only giving up the big play, obviously the big 85-yard touchdown was just demoralizing without a doubt, but the lack of tackling early on. This team has shown a propensity to play really well, especially defensively in the second half. But the first half really caught my attention.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down, Nuño, it just comes down to fundamentals, man. And I think some of the guys said it. I caught a little bit of the press conference. It's the little things that matter, man. It's wrapping up when you tackle. It's playing with your eyes, playing smart. It's not assuming that someone else is going to make the play. It's doing your, Franchione, man, for all the things he did that I disagreed with. One thing he used to always say that I thought was great was do your 1/11th. Take care of your responsibility. Trust that your teammates are going to.
Let's. I'm losing Brandon there. Let's put him in the lobby for a moment. I'm losing him. I don't know if it's my internet or Brandon's internet, but I've lost him several times. So let's try to bring in Chris Taylor into the program. And Brandon, you hold up tight for a little bit if you guys can hear me. Chris Taylor going to join the show here momentarily here on the Higginbotham post-game wrap. As we try to get that done, we'll get him here in a moment to see if we can break it all down. Chris Taylor joining us here on the post-game wrap. Chris, we're talking to Brandon. We'll try to bring him in the fold in a minute, but just your overall thoughts on how this one played out from beginning to end.
Disappointed. I thought that, playing an Arkansas team, that this rivalry has always been close. This game has always been close. I didn't think that we came out and met Arkansas's I didn't think we met their energy level from the start of the game. They came out, they hit us in the mouth, they go down, they force us to punt. We get a couple first downs, they go down and get a field goal, and then they hit us for 85 yards. And Miles Jones and Brandon hit it at the very tail end, before he was off. Our eye discipline was terrible today. There were plays where we're in man-to-man coverage and we're looking in the backfield and they're hitting passes and getting first downs, and we're not able to stop those drives. But man, as bad as we played in the first half, to look up on the scoreboard and you're down 17-10 and you're getting the football back, I mean, that's encouraging. Our defense, I think they played a heck of a ball game. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, they gave up big plays here and there. But, I mean, you're spending so much time on the field. You're spending so much energy, and you're trying to keep your team in the ball game. And let's be honest. Some of our big guys, they didn't show up and they didn't play well today. Leone hit it on the head. With Jalen had a few drops. I thought Anais had a tough game to start. You could see on the TV version where him and Jimbo are talking, and either Anais runs the wrong route or he was supposed to be somewhere and he wasn't there, and so he looked out of sorts today as well. And you don't know how much the injury really affected him, but it was sloppy to start the game. And so, the offensive line against a 3-man front, it was tough to watch because Williams just wreaked havoc all day. He was in our backfield, he was playing, but some of it was on the offensive line because we're giving up pressure to a 3-man front, but some of it is Zach as well. When he gets to that back foot, either the ball has to come out or he has to slide and climb the pocket to be able to help his offensive tackles out so that they can push those guys by. So it just to come out and to kind of sleepwalk through the first half, it was very surprising. I like how they came out in the second half and played a little bit better. But I mean, we're in SEC play now, and you can't come out and not score points and not sustain drives. And we didn't have a drive that went past their 30-yard line. And in the SEC, you're not having drives that are going to do that. You're not going to win many games in this league, and so they've got to improve that, and they've got to do it in a really, really quick manner.
All right, look, why were they not able to run the ball effectively or a lot? I know we had the big Spiller play, and it seemed like Spiller played well. Without it, he didn't seem like he played well. He definitely played well. But after his big touchdown, they really did not go back to the run, and it looked like Arkansas was, for the most part, doing a 3-man front. Why couldn't they establish the run?
I think a lot of it's point of attack. I think Arkansas was more aggressive at the point of attack. And I mean, you've got guys sliding up and down that offensive line. Kenyon's playing, he starts at right guard. Now he's over at left tackle. And then the injury, you bring Trainer in and, he starts at left tackle and you move him over to right guard. So just a lot of movement. But I mean, we're 4 games in. Everybody has injuries. Everybody has to figure it out. And it's just, for me, I think it's just the aggression at the point of attack. For lack of a better word, I mean, we're soft at the point of attack. We're not moving people. We're not clobbering and getting people off of their spot and creating those gaps. And we've got to get tougher up front, or we're going to have a hard time running the football and winning games in the SEC.
I take solace in knowing that this game seemed like Arkansas was dominating, yet it was a 1-score game entering the fourth quarter. What is it about this team that we've seen against Colorado and we are seeing now where they struggle with getting the ball down the field in the second half, and then defensively struggle stopping teams early?
Well, I think, you mentioned Colorado game. I mean, when you're not able to establish your identity and then you put Zach into an obvious passing down and he's dropping back and he's having to throw it 30 and 35 times a game, that's not the recipe that A&M has used to win over the first 3 seasons that Jimbo's been there. They've run the football. They've been physical at the point of attack. They have forced their will on you. And right now they're not able to do that. So it puts us in obvious passing situations. And, Zach has struggled to see the defenses. And then, give credit to Arkansas. The look that they were giving, starting with 3 high safeties and then rolling to cover 2 on one side of the field and playing zone on the other side. I mean, they gave some different looks to Zach, and, trying to run routes with 3, 4, 5 guys against 8 men deep, it's hard to do. I mean, unless you're like an Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, and you see those things and you're throwing on rhythm and you're throwing guys open, I mean, it's going to be hard for any quarterback to do that. And so, if we don't establish our run game and be more physical and create, create those opportunities for us to be able to take play action and go down the field, man, it's going to be a long SEC season. I was hoping we would see, just to show that we're capable of doing it. Whether it's completed or not, drop back, hit the back foot, and let it go 40, 50 yards just to say, hey, listen, you want to sit and you want to keep coming down and jumping routes, we'll throw it over your head, and we have guys that can run and go get it. So I don't think we threw a pass over 20 yards today, and that's disappointing because we have some guys, some young gorillas out there that can go and make plays.
All right, let's do this. Let's bring back Brandon Leone into the show, and we'll just get some last final thoughts here on the program. I'll just lead us off, guys. I think this team's identity has, and always, at least with this group, be about the running game, and I want to see more running, which should open up some downfield throws. Everything was underneath, and I know a lot of that was because of what Arkansas was playing. But if you don't start in SEC play well in the first quarter and you put yourself behind 17 points against anybody, Mississippi State down the road to Auburn, it does not matter, LSU, you're not going to win a lot of games. You have to start early, something we haven't seen against Colorado, and now we didn't see today against Arkansas. Brandon, I'll let you have some final thoughts.
Yeah, I think the problem is, for me, is, we're super inexperienced. We have high talented players on offense, but we're super inexperienced, and it's hard to pick up. It's hard to force the growth in that area. You know what I'm saying? And you got so many people complaining about the offense, and yeah, there's probably things that we could do different, and Jimbo's super critical of himself, and we all know that, but these guys have just got to be more physical, and they've got to focus on their responsibility. Take care of your responsibility, what you're called to do in this offense. Focus on that and be as physical as hell, as physical as you can be, because you're right. If we can't establish the run, and if we can't get ahead in the chains, we're toast. I'm telling you, you saw it today. You've seen it against subpar defenses we played against. If we don't establish the run, and if we don't make them get out of the box and get ahead of the chains, I don't care how good this defense plays. The SEC West is too damn talented to win football games like this. We won't do it. And so you got a quarterback that's head is kind of all over the place right now. Of course it is, because we can't run the football well, and the offensive line is not playing as well as they can. So we've got to fix that, David. If we don't fix that, it's just going to be a hard season. It's going to be frustrating. We have talented players. They got to grow up fast. That's all I can say. They got to grow up fast.
Yeah. And I
appreciate that, Brandon. Let's get some final thoughts from Chris. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I piggyback off that, man. And it comes down to just a couple things. I mean, football is not a tough game. It's fairly simple. You got to win the line of scrimmage. You got to block. You got to tackle. You got to throw, and you got to catch. And until we do those things, we're going to be very vanilla. And we've got to be more physical at the point of attack on both sides of the ball. We've got to tackle. And, when we do call pass plays, Zach has to take his drops. He has to trust what he's been coached to do, hit his back foot, let the football go. Right now, you see a quarterback that is shell-shocked. You see a quarterback that's scared to make a mistake because there are some windows in there, that are open. You just got to drop back, you got to throw it, and you got to trust that your guys are going to make a play. And so, again, we got to be more physical point of attack, because it's going to be tough sledding. Mississippi State, we know we got Alabama coming in a couple of weeks. And so we've got a lot of stuff to correct. But, the biggest thing is mentality, and you've just got to get more physical on both sides of the football, or it's going to be a long, long, long season.
Yep.
I think we lost David, Brandon.
I feel you, CT. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, I think David's he's froze up a little bit. So
yeah, I think it's his signal.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
there he is.
Hey, I'll tell you, this internet reminds me of that first drive by Arkansas and the 85-yard touchdown. Goodness gracious! All right, so we'll end it like this. A&M. I'm happy that it was a game in the fourth quarter the way the game started. But they have a lot of work ahead of themselves, and they have a lot of cleaning up to do. And some young players need to step up, and some veterans need to look them in the face and tell them how to finish it up. I want to thank you guys, Chris Taylor, Brandon Leone, for joining the post-game show. That'll do it here from Jerry's World. Apologies about the internet, doing the best we can out here, but a frustrating loss without a doubt. A very frustrating first half, but the Aggies did make it a game, and that it just was not enough. We'll see how they correct it for Mississippi State. All right, that is the TexAgs post-game wrap brought to you by Higginbotham Insurance.